Hey everyone, and welcome to the recap of day 5 in the Karen Reed case. A day totally focused on Breenan. Because Breenan, and you might be able to tell me in the comments what he's doing. Breenan called the Cellbrite expert, Whiffen, who is not a Cellbrite expert, who is the guy who tells the smart people at Cellbrite what the people who use Cellbrite need in the program. He's a project manager, he's a sales rep, he has a long, fancy title, but he doesn't do any of the code at Cellbrite. Go watch yesterday's testimony. It was what I would call sleight of hand, it was magic. He's asked about, do you work for Cellbrite? Yeah. Do you work with code? Not officially, but I do code. So did you code for Cellbrite or do you just code? We know he has this weird program that he claims is needed to understand Cellbrite that tens of people have downloaded. But does Cellbrite know this guy is disparaging their product in court and actually in the same courtroom where we 3 weeks ago heard experts testify in the Dr. Turk case that Cellbrite is the best of the best? A sales rep from Cellbrite now testified you can't use Cellbrite without having someone to interpret it for you. Again, I've been doing this for 14 years as a juror in Denmark. I see Cellbrite reports in maybe every 4th or 5th case I have. Cellbrite will give you the name, who they called. If it has GPS on, you'll get the GPS location. If it's a text message, you'll get the text, and you can see when it's opened or when it's closed or whatever happened to it. Cellbrite is super intuitive to look at. It's a program that'll go in, take all the data, then you'll take it out and you'll format it so you can read it. I have never ever had anyone come and tell me in a courtroom that you can't believe what you see on the Cellbrite. The only thing we discuss in Denmark is because sometimes the police guy who downloaded will write in the commentary field, this is when we believe they stole the car. That's where our argument is, that the police is not allowed to put in their thing they think this means, because that would influence us as jurors. We watched it in, I don't know, 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5 cases. I watched Cellbrite, and I have never, ever heard anything as ridiculous as we heard yesterday. Whiffen spent the entire morning trying to be an expert in Cellbrite, Vase, Apple, GPS, and again, there was sleight of hand all the time. Every time he had to do something with distance, he talked about it in meters. What doesn't Americans understand? Meters. It's really good for me because if I hear, well, it's 3 feet away, I'm thinking, oh, so 3 feet, how much is a feet? Is it my foot? Is it someone else's foot? But if you tell me, well, it's half a meter away, that's half a step. I understand that. So yesterday was the first time I kind of understood the distance in the Fairview 34 front lawn, because it's in my numbers for all of a sudden. But again, it's sleight of hand. Because if you say, well, it was 10 meters instead of 70 feet, any normal American would sit and think, 10 meters, that's not a lot, because you'll instantly turn it into 10 feet. Again, sleight of hand. Let's just change to the metric system so you don't think about it. And then he did another thing, because he had the GPS tracking. to prove that John was in the front lawn the entire time because he chose what data to provide to the jury. We saw some overhead shots that showed us how inaccurate the GPS was. At some points, because GPS isn't magic. GPS isn't, you're here right now. GPS is triangulating satellites depending on what's in the area, what's the weather like, how good is your connection with your phone. So if you only take in the plot points, he had a radius of up to 10 meters. If you only plot them in, yeah, you can get a pretty good picture. But if you took all the plot points that would go up to 15 meters, what would that show? Funny enough, he never did that. Why didn't this expert say, I did it with 5, 10, 15, 20 meters intervals? We saw some pictures that showed that John could almost be at the train tracks behind the house. We saw pictures that showed John could have been in the house most of the night. But because he only made a visual representation of those within 10 meters, we saw a picture where John potentially was all over the left side of the front yard. Again, sleight of hand, if I only take the data that fits my case, I can prove my case. What if you took a little more data? What if you took all of the data? Does it also prove your case? One thing he does need to be recommended for is he admitted that if you, for example, are in a basement, your GPS is wildly inaccurate. Just for anyone out there who might think something about a basement. Then he went on to talk about how accurate the Waze app was when they drove down there. But again, that's sleight of hand because Waze will coordinate your GPS signal and the map. So if you're driving down Highway 1, and even though your GPS signal shows that you are 50 feet off Highway 1, it'll snap to Highway 1 because there's no road, you're not riding in a field. It'll snap to Highway 1 so it looks good on your GPS map. You have all tried this when you're out driving and your GPS jumps to another road because it just thinks, hey, it could potentially be there moving in that direction. So again, sleight of hand. Oh, the Waze is super accurate. Yeah, because it cheats. The worst thing with Whiffen was his, I can explain the up and down stairs. Remember, 2 stairs up, 1 stairs down, or the other way around. I can't, right now I'm too angry to remember exactly. He explained that that has to do if you move 3 meters elevation in X amount of time, there should be a step increase because he had been in his phone. And if you operate your phone while driving, it'll count as walking up hills. Everyone go out. Of course, don't do it while you drive. Be in the passenger seat and try and do it. Just sit and send text to all of your friends and drive up and down hills. Get back to me with the result. I can't even cheat my watch by doing this. My watch can tell the difference if I'm on a treadmill or on a Stairmaster. You can't tell me, well, while texting and driving, it'll show I go up and down hills. And the funny thing, he showed us a topographical map of the area where he claimed it happened. If we were to go by his calculations that 3 meters would mean a stair difference, there should have been 8 descending stairs and 2 ascending stairs. So either your math is working or you're just making up BS, because he even had a descending stair where it was only 2 meters, not 3 meters. So again, all of it is just purely made up BS. But it's up to Alessi to get that out of him, because Um, he might have caused death by being so boring, and no one understood anything he said about wave files or hash marks or cron tabs. Alessi will be up first thing this morning on cross-examination. He started a little bit yesterday, but it didn't really get far. So hopefully they will hammer his behind today. Second part of yesterday was horrendous. I know all the antis out there is celebrating it as a big win that we had the Wadaya of the Arca guys. But I think I had made a prediction beforehand. Bev will allow them to testify like they did at the first trial, but not allow them to do rebuttal of the Commonwealth's expert because they haven't turned over work product. First of all, Hank Breenan needs a tampon and a bar of chocolate and calm down. He clearly is on his period every time he meets a person who's smarter than him. He yelled, he acted like a baby, he was screaming, he was shaking his head. He didn't listen to anything. He tried to make gotcha moments out of things. So you admit you deleted text? Yeah, I deleted text. So you deleted text? Yeah, like I just told you. Oh, so you won't tell me. He made all of this all the time. And I actually think he might have swayed Bev, not to his side, but to finally figuring out that she lost her mind over nothing. Because he was screaming, hollering at Dr. Wolf for 90 minutes. And then Alessi came up and he just point for point for point took down all of the accusations. And if Bev is just 50% honest, she will then again admit that, yeah, I overreacted. I don't think she will because it's Bev, but it proved there was nothing there. It was work-related product that was deleted after they finished their work. But we did get some funny information. The DOJ was really interested in the first case, and the DOJ sent material to ARCA during the first trial. ARCA didn't watch it, but the DOJ sent the material. Interesting. Hank really wanted to find out what the DOJ was interested in, which witnesses in the first trial, and he said, brother, it's confidential. Yeah, so you didn't give us the raw data. It's confidential. Breenan is doing exactly the same thing Lally did. This is all about protecting the McAlberts. It has nothing to do with finding Karen Read guilty. I don't get where he's coming from. I don't get his timeline. I don't get why he is presenting the case as he's doing. What I do understand is we will have cross-examination of Whiffen today, the Cellbrite expert. I hope Alessi is way better than Alan Jackson to figure out what, if any, inconsistencies there were. Then the great piece de la resistance. Jen McCabe is most likely the next witness. So all of this getting ahead of the Hus Long to die in the cold, will it work? Will the lies told by Carrie Roberts be a problem for Jen McCabe? We know it's going to be a long sub story. We know she will do whatever she can to mention that Aiden harassed them so they can get him thrown out of the case and do the same BS they did in the first case. But Carrie Roberts, she lied to the grand jury. Can we get Jen McCabe to admit doing the same? You have to come back and see today. Thank you for watching.